disabilities are entitled to full and equal access to places of public accommodation. And unfortunately, there's no guarantee of grandfathered rights under ADA. The law requires businesses to remove access to barriers to extend change that are deemed reasonably achievable. So if you coming in to rent or lease a site, you are responsible to make those reasonable, achievable goals to remove barriers for persons with disabilities. And you can hire a third-party professional certified access specialist, a CAST inspector, to evaluate your location. So this third-party CAST inspector would come to your location, inspect the site, and provide you with a report. The report would either certify that your space is in full compliance with both state and federal disability access laws, or the report would identify exactly what you need to do in order to achieve full compliance. And it's also good to know before moving in to know what you must do in order to be in compliance, because it's an ongoing responsibility as a property owner or as a business owner to a commercial site. It's your responsibility to make sure that your site is accessible for persons with disabilities. Now, moving on to hiring a licensed professional. It's only recommended for some planning permits. However, all building permits must be prepared by a licensed architect or a licensed engineer. And here I have some resources where you can look and research and find licensed professionals. Unfortunately, I'm not legally, I'm not allowed to make any suggestions or recommendation for any specific licensed professional. But at the bottom, you do see that the city of San Jose is on here, but this is just a list of consultants who have worked with the city of San Jose before. Please note that you do not have to choose any of these people on the list. They're just informational for you to it'll help with your research while you look for a licensed professional. So, like I mentioned earlier, most type of businesses are allowed by right, but there are some uses that would require a conditional use permit or a special use permit. Again, like sale of alcohol, late night, schools, massage parlor, and these special use permits, conditional use permits, require you to go through a public hearing process where your proposal will be heard and approved by either the director, the planning commission, or mayor and city council. This hearing process will allow members of the public to come to the hearing and provide comments. They can show support or opposition to your business proposal. Another planning permit is an administrative permit. An administrative permit is required to operate a stationary vending facility, for example, a food truck, on private property. And if you intend to operate a food truck on public property, that would require a police department permit, a peddler's permit with the police department. And for the planning administrative permit to operate a food truck or a vending facility on private property, there is a list of criteria that you must comply with. It's unfortunately very black and white. You either qualify, you either fulfill all the criteria, or you don't. And this administrative permit, it does not require a public hearing, but it will be reviewed by our planning division, by our planners remotely, and they will approve it remotely as well. You can send it to zoning questions at sanjoseca.gov. It's on our planning division webpage. Send them the application and all the information, the documents, and they will be able to review and approve your project if qualified. For any minor exterior modification, like changes to a door or a window, anything that would alter the appearance of the site from the outside will require a permit adjustment from our planning division as well. And again, like the administrative permit, it does not need a public hearing. It will be reviewed by our planning team, and they'll update you on the process of your application. And now moving on to the building permit process, which is required for any new construction, any interior modification or tenant improvement, or a change of use or occupancy. A change in use or occupancy would be, for example, if you're moving to a site that was formerly an office, a law office or a medical office, it doesn't matter, just another office, and you're moving in as a tutoring center. That would be that would consider to be a change of use under the building code, and it would require a building permit, even though you're not changing the layout, the floor plan, you're not installing any new equipment, but that is a change of use, and that would at least trigger a building fire review, building review, and an energy efficiency review. So on here, I have a list of what would include in a full building plan check, and that would be building, structural, architectural, fire, safety review, electrical, plumbing, mechanical, wastewater plan check for any food facility, food or beverage facility, energy efficiency, accessibilities for persons with disabilities, address assignment if you are combining or subdividing a commercial site, planning, zoning, parking, historic conformance if your site happens to be in the historic list, and public works conformance. Not all tenant improvement would trigger every review on this list, but for the most part, this would be the full comprehensive review. And depending on what your scope of work, what you plan to do, what your project is, again, Xuan and I can help you determine what review your project will trigger. So for the plan check process, we now accept electronic plans. For regular review, you will need to schedule an intake process with our permit specialist, and they would complete the intake process, create a folder for your project, and route the plans to be reviewed. The plans will be reviewed by anyone who needs to review your plans, from building, fire, electrical, plumbing, mechanical, so on and so on. Everyone who needs to review your plans, they will take a look at it, review, and either send an approval, or if the plans are missing information, if they need more clarity, or it does not comply with the California Building Code, comments will be issued and emailed to you. And constructions can only begin when the building permit is issued, and not before. And during the permit issuance, that is when you will need to pay for the building review. And the building review, the building permit, is typically will include the permit processing fee, the plan check fee, inspection fees, taxes, The taxes are a percentage of your construction valuation, and school fee if applicable, and public works sewage treatment plant fees if applicable. And for, like I mentioned earlier, for food or beverage facility, there is an additional step that you need to go through with county health for health review, because there is a, it's more intensive for these type of businesses. We created the Streamlined Restaurant Program, which is an expedited building plan check. And this will help. Well, our goal is to help reduce the plan review and permit issuance time, so that you can go through the permitting process and get your building permit a little quicker, a little more, just to help you expedite that process so you can begin construction and open your business a little quicker. The Streamlined Restaurant Program does not charge expedited fees. And to submit your plans for this program, you can email them directly to Xuan or me, as opposed to for regular review, you need to make an appointment with our permit center team. And during this process, please be advised that we will not be able to issue the building permit until county health has completed their review. But you can start with us concurrently, so you can save some time there. And once you have your building permit, that's when you can begin construction, begin equipment installation. We would recommend you to hire a licensed and insured contractor to pull your building permit. And your contractor is responsible for scheduling inspection during that construction process by, they can do it online at sjpermits.org, or they can call this number 408-535-3555 to make an appointment. All rough and final inspections are required. And once all final inspections are complete, that's when our building inspector will issue you with a certificate of occupancy specific for your use. And that is
Thẩm định
when
theo ý của quý vị và sẽ
begin your business and register your business with the city of San Jose. Yeah, so once you have that certificate of occupancy, you can apply for a business tax certificate with the finance department. And here's the link to their webpage. So besides from operating your business in a commercial tenant space, you can also conduct your business from home for home occupation. Any business that is operated from home, we refer to that as home occupation. It is a business or commercial activity that is conducted from a home, and this would include single family home, a duplex, apartment, mobile home. It doesn't really matter. You do not need a permit with our planning division, as long as if you're living in an apartment or a condo or anywhere that would have contractual agreement with, you might want to check with them before operating a home-based business. And here, this link I included on this slide is a brochure from our planning division that has all the requirements and criteria that you must comply with in order to operate your business out of your residential site. And it's basically to make sure that your business, whatever it is, does not negatively affect your neighborhoods. It's not too restrictive. It's not restrictive at all. So here are some examples. of home-based businesses, from consulting, handyman services, life coach, crafts making, childcare, daycare services, things like that. And oh, I'm sorry. Now I would like to zero in on oh, I'm sorry. Like I mentioned, no planning or building permit are required unless you're making changes to your site. If you're making building changes to your home in order to operate your business from there, you may trigger a building permit. And the home-based businesses must be incidental to your residence use. So first of all, it needs to be primarily as a home for you, and the business it's just a incidental use to your site. And so to ensure that your neighbors or your neighborhood is not negatively affected by your operation. And you only need to register your business with the City of San Jose Finance Department, and must make sure that the criteria listed in the brochure here is met. And for childcare businesses as a home occupation, because children under 18 are involved, so we do have some additional requirements. So for a childcare or a daycare business as a home occupation, you may care for a maximum of up to 14 children under the age of 18. And this includes any children living in your home as well. And other requirements for this type of home occupation is that you need to get a family daycare license from the state of California. This is standard to register your business with the City of San Jose. And if you plan to supervise 7 or more children, you must also get a fire department clearance permit. And a building permit is triggered if you're making structural alteration at your home. And if you want to supervise more than 14 children under the age of 18 at your home, then a certificate of occupancy is triggered. So again, that certificate of occupancy is when a public hearing process is triggered, and you need to go through that process and have the planning director, planning commission, or mayor and city council to approve your project if you want to supervise more than 14 children at home. So the state allows this type of business to operate from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. However, you cannot adversely impact the residential neighborhood around you. That would mean noise, traffic, things like that. And for more information and resources on what I've shared in the previous slides, here are a list of agencies. So please refer to our city brochure. The link is on here for childcare resources, and the California agency is on there, and the Fire Prevention Bureau is on there. If you want to supervise more than 7 children at your home, you need fire clearance. Another type of home-based business that is more carefully regulated is cottage food operation. And this was effective in 2013, was when the Cottage Food Bill, Assembly Bill 1616, was approved to allow certain low-risk food products to be prepared and packaged in a private home kitchen. And to operate Compliance with the California Government Code and the California Health and Safety Code is required. And I will briefly go over that. One of the specified requirement by the California Health and Safety Code relates to the to preparing food that is on the approved food list only. And I will tell you what they are in a minute and how you can request to add your food item if something is not on that list. You must also obtain a zoning public information letter from the city's planning department. You can do this, you can get an appointment, a virtual or an in-person appointment, or you can submit your application online via email. So that is your options. You will also need to complete a food processor training course within 3 months of registering. This training will go over health safety requirements and must completed within 3 months of becoming registered or permitted, and you must go through this training every 3 years during operation. The California Health and Safety Code also requires you to implement necessary sanitary operations. For example, while preparing or packaging food to sell to members of the public, you cannot cook your own food for your family at the same time. You cannot have pets in the vicinity of the kitchen while conducting your cottage food operations. And depending on the classification of your registration with the county Department of Environmental Health, your home kitchen will be required for an annual inspection. So there are 2 categories, a Class A and a Class B, where you can register for at the county health. And the main difference is that Class A can only sell directly to members of the public, while Class B can sell directly and indirectly via a third party. So that's the difference. And Class B is the classification that is required to have an annual kitchen inspection for sanitary compliance. You must also create a state and federal compliant labels for your food products to indicate the ingredients you used, in case your customers have any allergies or other health-related issues. And lastly, you must operate within the established gross annual sales limits that is identified and regulated by the county, the Santa Clara County Department of Environmental Health. So to see the approved list of low-risk food items that you can make and prepare at home and sell to members of the public, you can use this link on here. Here I have a very short list of the food items that's on there. But if you don't see the food item that you would like to make and sell for this cottage food operation, you can use this form right here. You can complete it and send it to the California agency for them to review and your application and request for consideration. And here is a list of detailed information. You can visit the regulatory agencies here, the California Department of Public Health and the Santa Clara County Department of Environmental Health about training, licensing, registration. There's a checklist that will help you with your application process, understand the fees, and you can look at other frequently asked questions about this process as well. And now I will talk a little about our city grants to help and support small businesses in the city of San Jose. And there are 3 grants right now that the city is offering to small businesses: a Certified Access Specialist Grant Program, a CAS grant program for ADA accessibility, and a vacant storefront grant, as well as an existing storefront grant. existing mean existing businesses. And so this city CAS grant, Certified Access Specialist CAS grant, was launched in February 2020, just before the shutdown. And this is to help small businesses remove barriers to be accessible or usable by individuals with disability. And I want to share that although we have a lot of people inquiring and being interested in this grant program, we do still have a lot of fundings for more projects to apply and to be considered for. So as we understand it, this grant unfortunately launched just before the shutdown, and many businesses were struggling to pivot their business and keep their businesses afloat. However, we do want to bring this up as an incentive to help businesses to remove barriers that prevent their site from being fully accessible and prevent any potential ADA lawsuit. This grant will qualify projects up to $8,000 for the cost to hire a private certified access specialist to prepare the inspection report. It will cover the costs of the city permits and inspection fees relating to those corrective improvements identified in the CAS report. And to apply, you can contact me or Xuan, or you can go to this link, sanjoseca.gov/ADA grant. It will provide you with our application, resources, more information. But if you have any detailed questions, you can feel free to reach out to me or Xuan. Our goal is to help businesses to achieve compliance. The building code, the California building code, updates every 3 years. So next year we will have implement a new building code. And again, it's an ongoing responsibility to be in compliant. Each building cycle, there's always a little bit, there's always, it gets a little more helpful to our members of the public who struggle with disabilities. So there may be some changes every code cycle. So it's every 3 years we have a new code cycle, and it gets a little more restrictive for building wise. So it's helpful to stay on top of that and be responsible for the site that you're in, just to make sure that it's accessible to everyone. And the next grant I will talk about is for our vacant storefront. We want to help businesses to go into vacant spots, vacant commercial sites in the city of San Jose. And this is to help prospective small businesses with up to $15,000 for a city permit process, inspection fees, and other taxes. And to qualify, your project must be leased on a ground floor space in the city of San Jose. And the site must be vacant for longer than 3 months. And you must have a lease contract with 3 years remaining on the lease contract. And to apply for this vacant storefront grant, you can reach out to the program manager, Salvador Alvarez, and his email address is on here if you have any questions or if you'd like to apply. The next grant is for existing businesses to improve your exterior storefront to enhance and enliven your site. So qualified projects for existing small businesses, they will receive up to $10,000, and it will cover city permits, inspection fees, materials, furnishing, fixtures, and equipment for your project. And to qualify for the existing storefront grant, you must occupy an existing ground floor space in the city of San Jose. And Salvador Alvarez is also the program manager for this grant as well. So if you are interested, you can reach out to Sal directly. And here I would just like to thank you for being here and sitting through my presentation. And if you have any questions, please know that Xuan and me are here to help you. If you don't know where to start with the city, if you have a project and the process may be very confusing, please feel free to reach out to us, and we're here to help you be your ally and coach through the city's permitting and inspection process. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Xuan. That was a lot of great information. So in the interest of time, I'm actually just gonna jump right into our next speaker, Margaret Jackson. If you are ready, Margaret, you can start sharing your screen. And we're gonna save all of our questions towards the end. But you guys are welcome to type in your questions in the chat, and we will go over those at the end of this webinar.
Okay, give me just a second here. Share the screen. This way. Let's see my screen. Can you see my screen? For Small Business Development Center, thumbs up, thank you. Okay, thank you for having me today. I'm looking forward to sharing. I understand I have about 20 minutes, so this is gonna be quick. There's a lot of information. So I'm gonna talk fast, listen quick kind of thing, give you some basic information. I'll try to just quickly go over information that it's all important, but for the sake of time, I want to make sure that I can get in everything for you. So starting at small businesses, San Jose Xuan, great information. I'm just going to kind of give you information that leads you up to that point. Our goal with the City of San Jose, Santa Clara County Small Business Development Center is to really help you start, grow sustainable businesses. Many businesses fail quickly. You often hear that businesses fail within the first 5 years. You'd be surprised businesses actually fail within the first year prior to the pandemic. SBA did a survey, and that survey showed that, they did a study that showed that we started about 1.4 million businesses in the country. And in that same span of time, about 924,000 businesses failed or went out of business. Now, some of those businesses could have been pre-existing businesses, but the reality is that this is serious business. So our goal is to equip you and help you start, grow, thrive, sustain for as long as you want to be in business. So it's not just starting the business, it's about staying in business, if that makes any sense there for you. So I'm going to go through my slides here. I'm Margaret Jackson. I'm not going to go into the huge introductions of who I am. We'll make this deck available for you so you can have it at your leisure as well. I am an advisor for the Small Business Development Center San Jose and many SBDCs within Northern California, to include the region. I'm a former director of one of the SBD centers. So I've had an opportunity to experience that, which was fantastic as well. I'm a business owner myself, so I understand the hurdles and the ups and downs of starting a business, staying in business. So let's get to it. Here's the agenda. I'll give you a brief introduction of the overview. We're going to discover legal structures, idea assessments, business planning, keeping you legal, making sure that your idea, where that's I call the $0 stage, where you can really kind of think through your business. And if you are past a certain point in your business and you're still young in your business, I still recommend that idea assessments are done. So it really helps you fine tune where you want to go in your business. Turning an idea into a business plan, and then we'll wrap it up. We have a short disclaimer here, and the gist is what it talks about is the information provided in this presentation and any supplementary materials are provided to you with the intent that they are for educational and informational purposes only and do not constitute professional, financial, or legal advice. And by the way, SBDC cannot give you legal advice or tax advice. Just in general, no recipient should act or fail to act on the basis of any material contained in this email or this webinar without obtaining proper financial, legal, or other professional advice specific to their situation. And basically what we're saying is that although this is a federally funded program, it's a great program. You're working with seasoned advisors, trainers, those that are business owners, CEOs, and such. Our goal is to support you, but you as a business owner, at the end of the day, you still have to do your due diligence and make sure that you're taking the proper steps for your business. Okay, so what does SBDC help you with? It helps you to thrive, and it helps you thrive in these different areas. You could work with a business advisor in various areas, whether it's for access to capital, whether it's the certification and procurement process, which I hugely encourage for small businesses, growth, marketing, research, just the continuity of business. There's just so much to kind of unpack there, but there's almost nothing that we can help you with other than legal advice and tax advice. So keep that in mind. So, and we work as a team. So your primary advisor can bring in other advisors under the direction of the director of each center and having those permissions. But it's kind of like, I like to think of it as going to your primary doctor. Your primary doctor accesses your situation, and you might need to go to the ear, nose, throat doctor. And so your primary advisor may be your generalist who might need to send you to someone who's savvy in technology or savvy in marketing and advertising. So we really try to work as a team to provide you a holistic approach to being successful in your businesses as you start them, or whatever step you are in your business. Let's go to the next slide here. How do we do that? We do it with one-on-one advising, low cost free workshops, low cost and no cost free workshops. We are under a strict confidentiality agreement, non-disclosure agreement, so you are safe. We're not providing information with regards to your business. We do capture economic impact. All of that is in aggregate. And so unless you become a success story, which I recommend everyone become success stories and give permissions to get that extra marketing and advertising and push for your business, should the local newspaper do a story about you, or the city, the state, the federal government, and the powers that be in our region to send your information to. But we will always send you a form for you to sign to give us those permissions, but always take the free marketing advertising when you can get it. The main requirements as a SBDC client is show up for your appointments. If you're not able to make your appointment, give your advisor notice. It's important for your advisor to be able to repurpose their time. They don't get paid for no shows of appointments, and having to pivot, because someone didn't show up for an appointment, or they're finding out at the last minute. Things do happen, emergencies do happen, and we're also very sensitive to those types of situations. But be careful that you're not signing up for appointments and hold the calendar dates and then decide, well, if I don't go, it's okay. But not really. We want to move you forward, and so make sure that you're keeping your appointments, you're showing up on time, and you're completing the work and the assignments, the business homework and assignments that you will get, because it is always in your best interest. But the best way we can help you is to make sure that you're working within the guidelines that the program offers. economic impact, we have to prove some way that the program works. And the way that we do that is we measure how many businesses are starting, how many jobs are created, how many jobs are saved or retained, increase in sales, capital, access to capital. And sometimes gathering this information can be interesting. We have up to 2 years to gather this information. So for example, if I work with you and then haven't worked with you in 6 months and you had like a $500,000 increase in sales, we're going to capture that as economic impact. Any support and help that you get from the SBDC, we're able to come back and capture that impact because you have received services to do what? To help your business grow, thrive, and expand, and do all of that great stuff to be sustained. And so, so work with us on that. That's how we keep our funding to ensure that we can be a benefit to you, your business, and those that will come behind you. So we appreciate that. So getting into the nitty gritty, tipping the balance in your favor. That list there is really kind of representing not all inclusive, but the things that you need to think about in doing your business. Starting a business is challenging, it's hard. You're going to have those ebbs and flows in business. And so you want to make sure that you're balancing out all of the things that you need to do. You're wearing a lot of hats. You need to make sure that you're asking questions like, can you create a plan? And do you have the commitment to stick to it and see it through? You have to figure that out. You might love to bake cookies and you might bake the best cookies on the planet, but actually being able to stick in business, and when those ebbs and flows happen and maybe you're not selling as many cookies, can you stick with it? Do you know how much you will need to invest in the business before it starts paying you back? And so you have to look at that, especially that first 12 to 18 months. You want to look at, you know, what that revenue is going to look like and be realistic in those numbers. And your SBDC advisors can help you with that as well. Are there too many other businesses in that industry? Maybe. How do you wedge in? We need to figure that out. Do you have all the skills and experience you need? And so there's questions after questions, and you want to do a hard assessment about where you're at and what you can do to ensure your success. And you want to be brutally honest with yourself when you're going through it. And it doesn't mean that you shouldn't open the business. It means that you should open the business with your eyes wide open, going through that process. So the first thing that we do is we go through discovery. All of my businesses or clients, SBDC clients that I work with that come in, what we call our pre-ventures, they're not in business, they want to be in business. This is a stage that I give them the idea assessment. Is your idea viable? Is it feasible? This is the $0 step. This is just you really thinking through what you want to do. You're assessing the suitability to be an entrepreneur. You're assessing the idea. Is it practical? You're assessing the feasibility. How is it going to be funded? So you're really taking a deep dive in what that's going to look like. So there's 4 levels of assessment in this example. Your self-assessment. Do, like I said, be real honest with yourself. Assess your traits, your abilities, your disciplines, abilities, and attributes to be a successful entrepreneur. You want to look at that. You want to look at assessing your finances. This stage helps you determine if you're financially ready to start a business. You'll need to know the answers to questions like, how much money do you need to start your business? How much money, and by the way, that money that you need to start your business, that startup cost, that's all the money that you need prior to opening your doors. And oftentimes we open our doors before we, really set everything in place. But this is everything that you spend. It's not your monthly costs for, like, say, your web hosting. It is everything that you need to say, I am open for business. These are all the things I had to do to get here to that grand opening. So how much money will you need to carry the business until it is profitable? What's your cash on hand? You want to know what that is. Is that going to be some sort of loan? Is that going to be family investment? Is that going to be where you're going to get that money from? Maybe you already have it. Will you continue to work and bootstrap your business? So bootstrapping, you're putting in your own herding capital, you're putting in your own money and resources, and maybe you're still working as well, a regular job. And so you're, figuring out how to keep things going as you begin to launch that business. Assessing the market. Sometimes this can be a little elusive. How do I assess the market? How do I do the research? Do the research, assess the market. There's some great tools out there. There's a tool that the United States Census Bureau has that's for small businesses, and it's the Census Bureau Builder. And I'll put that link for you in the chat when I'm finished. But it's a great tool to kind of help you figure out your local market, national market if you're national. But it does give you some great tools to help you kind of do a deep dive on some of your data that you might need for your market description of the industry, current market analysis, including competitors. Who are your competitors? And by the way, you're in retail, and maybe you're a boutique, maybe you're a clothing boutique. Your competitor is not Neiman Marcus. Okay, you really want to look at who's really your competitors that you're wedging in the market against. These large 1,000 Fortune 1000 companies, these huge platforms like Amazon, are you really competing with them? No, you're not really competing with them. So you really have to look at who are you really competing against, and who's doing what you're doing that's similar, that you're competing against. Those are the guys that you're looking for to wedge your business into that market. Who are your buyers? What are your sales projections? Make sure that they're realistic. Make sure all your numbers are always realistic. If you're projecting from scratch, and of course, if you're pre-existing, then you're looking at what your past performance has been. Assessing the feasibility. So after completing your research and you've done your due diligence, you're moving into this feasibility stage, and you're getting to the place where you want to do the business plan. But these are all asset tests. Feasibility. Is it? What's the finances behind getting this business off the ground? Feasibility is really the ability to get the business financially positioned to be successful. Can you do it? Is it worth doing? What's your studies look like in terms of getting that business moving and going? The business plan provides a planning function to take your idea to a reality, but that's after you've done this asset test. In fact, I want to show you quickly kind of the structure of the idea assessment. I think I have it here in my deck, so you'll see it in just a minute. We're going to go to the next slide. So this is just kind of what we just talked about: personality, skills, money, resources. We'll talk a little bit about employee versus entrepreneur, your core values. All of these pieces are important when you're starting a business, going from that employee and being an entrepreneur. We'll talk a little bit more about that a little later. I'm going to try to swing through this quickly. This is a lot of information. I apologize, I'm talking super fast to try to get you a lot of information in a little bit of time. Anatomy of an entrepreneur. This is actually a evaluation done by the NorCal region. I actually have it here. I'm going to stick this on my screen here. Can you see that? This evaluation, can someone give me a thumbs up on that? I just dropped it in on my screen here. You can see it great. So this is an evaluation that the NorCal region put together for you to assess yourself. And again, like I said, be real honest about where you're at. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? And then, calculate where you're at on that. You can always get other people to fill in those weaknesses. You can strengthen them by educating yourself. There's a lot of different ways to get the support. SBDC provides a lot of support for you to stay steady in these early waters. So we want to help you stay in the boat and make sure that you're smooth sailing along the way. But I'm going to put this link in the chat so you can use that to do your own assessment of where you're at in terms of your anatomy as an entrepreneur as well. So the 5 core business skills needed: sales, marketing, management, planning, adaptability. And by the way, the top 4, those first 4 are four of the most consistent reasons why businesses fail. They're not doing the sales because they don't like doing sales. I don't like selling. I hear small businesses say this all the time, and it's absolutely amazing to me. And by the way, SBDC works with for-profit businesses the way the legislation is written. We have to work with for-profit businesses. We are not able to work with nonprofit businesses just as part of, like I said, that legislative design. But again, these top four areas are massive reasons why businesses fail in small businesses offices. It's really not about the money. Yes, it's always about the money. It has to be about the money because you're in business to make money. Yes, you're solving a problem that you may be very passionate about, but it's about the money. You want to stay in business. You want to be able to give yourself a sustainable income. You want to make sure that all your expenses are paid and you have a profit margin. So you're going to have to do the marketing. You have to do the managing. So make sure that if you don't like sales, use a resource out there like the virtual gurus that are really great with helping you in areas that are not your strength. These are ways for you to fill your strengths. And they're like $35 an hour. That's not bad. Minimum 10 hours. So if you started modest and did 10 hours a month, you could get some of these other areas filled so that you can do what you are best at. So, so keep that in mind. Managing and SBDCs, we will help you learn how to manage your business, help you learn how to market your business. Planning, I just can't say enough about your business plan and that being a roadmap to your business being and staying on track. You certainly can leverage it to get financing. If you're fundable, that's important too. So we want to make sure that you're fundable, but you can leverage it, but don't do a business plan just to get funding. Do a business plan because you want a roadmap to your success. And remember, a business plan is a life plan. It is going to adapt. It's going to adapt to what we call the pestle, the political, the environmental, the economics, the social, technological, legal, and environment. So things that you are not going to be able to control. So, and if you want to learn more about a pestle analysis, which I recommend that all business plans have a pestle and a SWOT analysis, do a little research on what is that. So you're looking at what can impact your business. Employee versus employer. Employees, the bottom line is, someone's telling you when to come to work, here's your job description, here's your schedule, here's your salary, and you're not typically an investor in a company. An employer or business owner, you're deciding what those instructions are. You're deciding your out. And if you're, as a business owner, believe me, you're working more than 40 hours a week. You're probably doing more than 60, 80 hours a week. You're setting schedules, you're investing in the company. It's paid if the company makes money and is the last to be paid. Sometimes you're the last to be paid. Sometimes you're make sure that you pay yourself something, even if you're reimbursing yourself. Make sure you're doing something to encourage your own profitability and keeping resources and finances coming into your personal income as well. So try to do something there. Where's the money coming from? Bottom line, I'm going to there's different areas you can get money from. And again, at the SBDC, we can help you figure out where it's going to come from. And believe me, grants is not coming, the bulk of it is not coming from grants. If you can compete for grants, I help a lot of companies get a lot of money on grants, and they're highly, highly competitive processes. So make sure that if you're going to do a grant, work with your local SBDCs to ensure that you're for any of the funding solutions. But keep in mind that if you're starting a business, now I'm just going to get a grant. No, you're going to work hard, and you're gonna have so much skin in the game until it's painful, brutally painful, keep you up at night painful. So make sure that you're figuring out where are the best ways for you to get resources. If you have cash flow issues, use resources like Fundbox or Fundthrough that will allow you to use invoice invoice factoring for small businesses to close those cash flow gaps if your clients are slow at paying and that sort of thing. But you want to you want to know where your money's coming from, investing money, getting your money to work for you when you have it, and getting a return on those resources. You definitely want to make the resources happen for you. Loans, there's several different types of loans. There's SBA loans to conventional loans to CDFI money. When clients come to me and our SBDC clients, this is, I need access to capital. So my question is, well, what kind of money do you want? Because it looks different. And so we need to strategize on what it is and help yourself become bankable and try not to need money in a fire. When you really need it, it can be really challenging to get. So make sure that you're educating yourself on if you're getting bank loans or commercial financing, micro enterprise loans, economic development loans, SBA loans, and SBA has several different types of loan programs. So make sure that you understand and listening to your advisors on what could be out there that will benefit you. Make sure you're keeping your credit score up at least a 680, a sweet spot. I like 740, 760 in terms of your credit score. Complete your business plan. Do the work, do the idea assessment, do the business model canvas. That business model, by the way, is how you make money. It's not the business plan. The business plan is the expansion of what your business model is. Your business model is how you make money. The idea assessment is you doing a deep dive on whether or not you should even start the business, whether or not you should even do anything. That's why it's the no dollar stage, I'd like to call. And make sure, if you have 3 years of financials, great. If you don't, make sure that you're building your finances, like I said, we don't give tax advice, but at the end of the year, make sure that you don't have a negative amount. At some point, you're going to need finances. For new businesses, you won't have it. You're going to be using projections for your lending purposes. This structure right here, the idea assessment, this is really a cool little that Iowa State University put together, and that's it. It's a go to no-go decision framework when you're doing your idea assessments. Where did the idea come from? What would you do better? Have you seen the idea? And so ask yourself these tough questions. Can you clearly articulate your idea? You're looking at your knowledge base. You're looking at your experience, who's starting the business, who's your customer personas, who's the buyers, who's the users, who could be the same people, how big is that market size? I had someone do an idea assessment. I use a tool called Mural, and they can use it at no cost and do at least 3 murals, I think up to 3 murals at no cost. And they put like 18 people. I'm like, well, you're never going to sustain a business with 18 people, right? You're going to sustain a business with, thousands of business of customers, right? So, and you're going to look at your unique value proposition. What's your core competencies? What's your product services? What that description is? That's where you're going to do that work, and so you can make a decision to either wait or go forward and start doing your business plan. And again, you're going to get a copy of this deck you can get from the city of San Jose, so you can go through all of this information yourself as well. Who are the customers? Is your idea feasible? Viability, desirability, feasibility. Desirability, it really means is there someone that really wants to buy your products and services that aren't your friends and family? Can you get other people to buy? That's important. The viability, again, it's just, I don't want to beat a dead horse here. Is it viable? Is it feasible? That's going to be important for you to continue to look at. And then there's another way to look at it as a business model. Do they want your product? Should you do it? Can you do it? Is it financially, are you financially able to do it? Keeping it legal. There's different types of legal structures. Learn what they are, the advantages and disadvantages. The Secretary of State, California Secretary of State has it outlined extremely well. They won't have the sole proprietorship. The sole proprietorship and partnerships, bottom line, you're liable for everything. So I recommend making sure that you put some insurance around you so that you can fortify yourself a little bit. But if you're going to choose an LLC, make sure you understand why you're choosing it, because each one of these structures are designed for a specific use and purpose. Understand your purpose on how you want to structure your company. If it starts at a sole proprietorship, it can later, you can move it into an LLC or a C Corp. Sole proprietorships and partnerships are really easy to set up, quick to set up. But make sure that you understand the rules and guidelines around that. And again, SBDC advisors can help you with that. Licenses and taxes, that's where city, county, California, everybody wants their taxes, and they want to ensure that you have the right licensing and permitting. So make sure that you understand, if you set up your business with the state of California, don't forget to go to the city of San Jose and say, hey, I need my business tax license, and going to that license, I need to go to the county, get my fictitious business name filed. If you're using a fictitious business name. And so what are the requirements that you need? I've worked with a lot of clients that have come through the SBDC system. They've been C corporations or LLCs, and they've been in business for a while. And just like what Xuan is saying, is that they don't have all of their permitting. They don't have all their licensing correct. Like, oh, I didn't know I needed a business license. I've been doing this for 2 years and I've been an LLC. You know, it is your responsibility to understand what the guidelines are, and you don't have to go it alone. You have SBDC support right here for you. CalGold is a really neat website, and I have an example here that you can go out and you can see all. Can you guys see that CalGold? I actually set it up for you. Are we good there? So CalGold, it was set up by GoBiz, the Governor's Office of Business and Economic Development. And you can see here, you can select your city, county, and then you can select your, the business types. And it'll give you a list of permits, resources that you will need to really set up your business the right kind of way. So everyone's doing their part within the county, the city, the state, SBDCs, and scores and the Small Business Administration to ensure that you have every chance and every opportunity to create a business that is that's structured properly and is on the right path for success there. The business planning, there's different types of business plans. You have the one-page business plan. I'm not really a huge fan of that, but that one-page format, but it just kind of what I like to call the bones of the business plan. So you can do the bones of a business plan to kind of give you a general perspective of where you're at on things. A lean plan, I like lean plans a little bit better. Traditional plans, it doesn't have to be as robust. And if you want to pitch, so pitch decks you're using for, I like using pitch decks for getting access to capital funding, things like that. So you can do a business plan pitch deck. So there are different types here that you can use, and your business advisor can work with you on which one makes sense. That one-page plan is just, you're really focusing on the key questions: your products, your services, competition, making money, examples of making money, sales versus expenses, marketing your business, getting started, your lean canvases. You get a little bit more information on there. So you're looking at 10 areas such as problems, the problems that you're solving. It kind of looks like a business model canvas with a few extra blocks for you to kind of fill out in there. Then of course you have the traditional plan that can have much more information for you. And then of course the pitch deck that is available for you. And so again, these are the different sections of a lean canvas, and you will see many of these same areas like customers, unique value proposition, revenue streams, cost structures on a business model canvas. So make sure you do the business model canvas as well. I love the break-even analysis. We talked about startup costs, you got operating costs. The break-even is this is all your expenses are paid, and anything above that you're making a profit. And if you're not sure how to do a break-even analysis, there's a tool by NACE, and I'm going to drag that into my screen. NACE, National Association for the Self-Employed. You can use this calculator, get your break-even point, and look at the report. So if I go back to, let's see, it actually, okay. So when you go to this, so here you can see it refreshed itself. You can put in your information and then you can see where your break-even point is. When you look at the report, which I love, they break it down for you. You see all these negative numbers right here? Those negative numbers shows you, okay, you're still at a loss because this is what you invested, like your first year. But as soon as you break even, you get back to zero. Anything above that, now you're in profit. And I really like this calculator. It's a really cool calculator to help small businesses get to their break even points. And so again, you're looking at your startup costs, everything that you're going to spend before you start your business, operating costs, and then of course making your profit. So again, you can sign up for one-on-one advising services with Access SBDC. If you are ready to get started with your small business, you can reach out to your San Jose business ally, Juan and Xuan, who can help you get connected to us as well. And I'm sure I went probably a little bit over 20 minutes. Apologies, but we got it all in. And thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Margaret. So we have about 5 minutes left. We can take some live questions. If anyone have a question, you can raise your hand and I'll just have my coworker Cameron unmute you. But if you prefer to email questions, here, I'm going to share my screen. If you prefer to email your questions, you can email it to this email right here, economic.development@sanjoseca.gov. Margaret and Xuan, do you guys want to maybe type your email in the chat box so people can email you with their questions? If not, everyone can just email it to our economic.development email and I'll just forward those to you guys. Okay, it looks like we do have a message. Okay, so yeah, Xuan just shared her email. All right, so if we don't see any hands, I will, okay, there, Margaret just put her email there as well. Then we'll just look out for your questions through our email boxes and we'll get back to you. All right, thank you so much again. Our two speakers, really appreciate your time and all these valuable informations you're sharing with our community. All right, let's call it a day. Thank you so much. Have a nice day, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.